And you want to do it. I'm just curious. Here? That's what he means. Try to get it balanced. So
why didn't you do it? More reps and work with me. She's two guys right here.
my body direction.
How about this? Oh, what I have to do? You're coming in. Step past him, step twice, touch him on the back.
All right, guys, stop for a second. I want to show you something. Okay, I hate to even bring this up, but I will. If we look at a creature, such as a monkey. Okay, a monkey is selfish, self-centered. It gets what it wants, and it doesn't worry about the little things in life. So if it wants fruit, there's a tree branch in the way, it just moves a branch, it gets the fruit. Or it gets the branch, the fruit, and does this. In your mind, get rid of what you, I always tell my students this. You have to work just as hard to forget as what you didn't learn. Does that make sense? Because when you learn something, what it does to us, it clouds our mind. And we want to do everything that way. So then we end up putting square pegs in the round holes. So, if this guy's going to hit me, and I want fruit, see? All right? Now, anytime. Okay? Here's what I'm saying. Don't pay attention to the class. Be natural. So don't knock yourself off doing this. Right now. Okay? He moves. Get your fruit. He moves. Hey! Then you can do this. You want to go for it from there. Okay? But right now, you want what you want. Okay? Got it? Be natural. If you want to act like a monkey, do it. See, moves, anytime. The heck with a punch, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, that punch is telling you what he wants to do. Okay? Got it? All right, go ahead.
How do you think of that?
You guys always touch twice. When they move once, you keep moving. Just keep picking. Don't settle out on one thing.
So we can work together here. I don't know what animal it is.
Wrong thing. Wrong thing.
Yes, it worked, John. By the time I do this, you'll be over here.
Here, let me see the... Okay, I'll put you. Because what do you do to that?
Well, you can tap it twice.
Direction they're going to, or does it matter? I'll do the whole pass.
That's it. Don't. Oh, just do this. Bang.
You're changing.
You guys are doing good, okay.
Push up for it.
Like that?
I was just seeing if you were.
Somewhere on there. You drop it to your left. No, you drop it to your right hand. Go. Okay. Oh, me.
Everything is based upon
You're supposed to go off and see what you would have missed. Oh, wait.
If your head turns this way, move your body back. Yeah, I need it.
I was expecting him to put.
3 times each.
Yeah. It's gonna take some time. You guys have a seat for a second. Excuse me, guys, I want to pull this back. I'm going to read you guys a little bit. Yeah, this is out of my text. Also, I will do my spiel sometime today about all of this stuff, because I know you guys are going to be in the middle of a lot of changing. This text is, I'm proud of it, because in fact I didn't realize it was going to turn out like packing the binders. But it's written along the lines of my teacher's thoughts, and some of us deciphering his teachings. First of all, I arrange this book in a different way, and everything in Kosho is this way. Everything in Kosho to Kempo is abstract. It is made to induce thought. Now, a little bit of history, because I want to cover a little bit of it. This is okay. In Kempo, first of all, is not a style. Never intended to be. The distortion took place in Hawaii, okay, under a guy by the name of Chow, was the one who created the first distortions of what Kempo was. The Tulsi, when he went to Hawaii, was a priest. Okay? He came from a Buddhist temple, which you guys would see the Inside Karate magazine, you read about that. So it is important that everybody studies the mindset of what that term means. Because if you don't, then you're saying a word that doesn't have that meaning. When I was with Mitoshi, he told me Kempo, Karate, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Kung Fu were evil. And he was right. Mitoshi was very literal in nature. In other words, a lot of times when he talked to me, he would pull out a dictionary, point to the word, the meaning of the word, and explain. Kempo means study. It means the study of laws. It means law. This law refers to hand signs, which came from the Buddhist religion of right and left. The right hand represents physical, left spiritual morality. So Kempo is itself study of yourself, both your external self and internal self. Kosho comes from the densho. And you guys, the term densho means legend. And when anything that you do, there's a densho to it. There's a legend. There's a reason why you see symbolism. There's a reason why when you come into the dojo and you behave a certain way. There's a reason why somebody takes salt and does this, you know, and you spill salt on the table. That's all densho. There's a reason why you're who you are. Okay. Kosho, where it comes from, is back in the 1200 AD. I'm going to tell you something that's really not only puzzling me, but it's puzzling Randy Beard, who just came in from Japan, never yesterday, no, the day before yesterday. Yesterday was fine. And I videotaped it, and I'm going to end up putting it out. But Randy's confused about one thing that I'm confused about. The legend of the temple, and there's 38 articles on its history. It was built in 804 AD. and in it several different sects of Buddhism were there. Shingon, Tendai sect, Jodo Shu, Rinzai, and so on. What was confusing is in 1245, a stranger, a foreigner, went to that temple, meditated underneath a pine tree. He was dressed in white, had a black mask. And what he kept saying over and over, it's called a sutra, like a meditation, that there are many nations here, but there's only one Shakasama. Shakasama, to the country at that time, means the laws that are around us that make us exist. Nations referring to people. You are a nation, each one of you are. You're made up of boundaries, your body has boundaries, your mindset, you have your own rules and regulations you live by. But there's only one truth. Only one truth. If you think about it, there's only certain laws that we all have to abide by. That is where the old pine tree comes from. Parker criticizes, how could you serve at the country and know about fighting? Well, fighting's easy, not fighting's hard. Stop and think about it. If you understand laws about yourself when you move, when you make motion, or conflict period, then you know how not to break laws. If you go to somebody's house, you offend them, somebody's going to get mad at you. So the idea is to be curious enough and aware enough to where you don't do that kind of stuff. So you get along. The other thing too is if you want to cut somebody's throat, there's a saying, the knife that cuts you is a knife you don't see. And so you do blending knives. The best army is an army that can appear without appearing like it's appearing. Right? Now, in order to do that, you have to be knowledgeable of not just yourself, but those that are around you that you might come in conflict with. An opponent in the street, you'd be a fool not to know what he's going to do. And Natosi explained to me, he says, Kempo evil teaches you how to get hurt, that's what it means. You know how to move, but you don't practice how your opponent moves. Stupid. Think about it. Am I right or wrong? You go in a martial arts school today, everybody's going to do karate punches. You practice and defend yourself against somebody that's not going to try to hurt you. That's dumb. Is it not? You'd be foolish to think that because of the fact you know martial arts that you can take care of yourself in the street. That's silly. And therefore, you must take the time to appreciate, like Natosi wrote in his writings, he said, love yourself, love God, love your enemy above all. What he was saying is, he's saying, you gotta know everything. Okay, so when you learn things, this is some things I wrote in the book. First of all, I'm going to go to the conclusion, which I give the same conclusion after every chapter. It says, hopefully you've gained much from the reading of this text. Like my teacher, I've attempted to write this text so that once you read it, you must constantly refer back to it. Continuously read it over and over again. It is a common thing in the process of learning to see things according to our past realities based upon our past experiences and our own prejudice and opinion. Therefore, I felt that much of this text must be written with that in mind. As you go through the process, as you study, as you mature, your learning experience changes drastically with time. Like a fine wine, with the aging process, more and more enlightenment takes place. My teacher's text means something different to me every day. When we experience learning, we must remember that our past and present learning will open the doors to future understanding. Without totally dissecting every bit of information that has ever been presented to us, we can never say that we know. If we ever say that we know, the reality is that we don't know. What you understand today will be totally different tomorrow based on that old information. Each one of you, as you read this text, will have different understandings of what you read. Some of you might be confused. Some may be looking for answers. Remember, don't look for the answer because there isn't one. Only look towards a process that your question takes you through. Get up in the morning, begin your journey through the day, retire at night, and wake up to a new day. As my teacher explained, the highest form of self-defense is that of peace and harmony. Okay? Now, what that means is every time in a class that you learn a technique or learn a move, but this is natural, you will draw a prejudice, an opinion based upon what you were taught. Therefore, you have to work just as hard to get as what you didn't learn. Make sense? Because to do otherwise is foolish. It's stupid. Anybody that understands that you might think that way is going to have a field day with your mind and everything else. Anybody that's wise. Because that's why anytime you deny learning, what you're doing is allowing yourself to be defeated. It doesn't matter what you're learning. To deny it. To deny the process of learning. This principled adaptation is superior to adaptation to technique. In principled adaptation, one adheres to principles, concepts, and theories. Technique is one from the understanding. From that understanding, consider the use of kata and waza. The birth of movement gives us a basic understanding of the first step or direction of study. Bunkai is a level of understanding well beyond kata and waza. From bunkai, new kata and new waza may be born. Principled adaptation enables us to see many things from one thing, and from many things we see one thing. Consider the writings of Musashi. You guys know who Musashi was? Miyamoto was the greatest swordsman in Japan. Well, I actually like another guy named Yagun Minori. It says, consider the writings of Musashi. To know the one is to know the 10,000. To know the 10,000 is to know the one. Adaptation to technique is a method of study when one locks himself into a realm of reality that loses all bases of reality. One can merely then present one case, one attitude, in one direction. You guys understand that? One must understand so that he can kill the Buddha. The Buddha represents any tool, technique, or idea of perfection. Once we have the understanding which tools or techniques can project, we must be able to let go. Therefore, a person must work just as hard to forget technique as he did to learn. The process of forgetting structured information is important. If we cling to structured information, we will never really understand what is being taught by that information. You guys understand that? What's the matter?
The technique, it seems, how do you learn? You learn off of it.
The idea, see, perfection is the understanding and realization that there is no perfection. That is perfection. When Tulsi wrote my certification out, he promoted me to master minister. Now, I never understood what that really meant until just recently, because after finding that Kempo, I understood because I did research, I want to know what these Buddhists are really thinking, Buddha, to the Buddhist, is a wise man. He's not God. He's just like a person, okay, who was smart, okay. He kept himself out of trouble. They say that when you receive what they call the Inka Shome, that's what I got from your Hosei Sensei. Inka Shome means one who is enlightened. I never understood that recently after finding this temple and researching. Enlightenment in that philosophy or study means you're enlightened. The enlightened one is one that knows he's not enlightened. That's enlightenment. Meaning that tomorrow you're going to learn some more, man. The quote, you learn to kill the Buddha. The same thing is whatever you learn, you got to learn to get rid of. See, every one of us, no matter what we do, we live by rules and regulations. We try to justify our own existence so we don't have to think. It's a natural state for humanoids. Okay? The objective is as you guys study, you want to see way beyond that. Okay? I can teach you guys the same thing for the next 20 years. I'll never teach you anything different, but you won't know it. Because each time you unravel it and make it into another thing. But that's natural, you're going to do that. You just be aware of it. Just know it. Therefore you let go. But if you cling to it, I see karate all the time fight over things that are so stupid. They're doing the same stuff. And today there's about 20,000 different Chinese Kempo systems that came from the Kosei's basic teachings in the United States. Now maybe 10,000, 15. Each time, because they're technique oriented, they change one technique, they change everything. But they cling to that. They argue over that. You look at everything that we do today. You look at the religions in the world, they argue over technique. They're not arguing over the faith. They're arguing over the technique that some person did. Okay? And it can go to the minute things. The difference the way Kmart operates their business and Walmart. I'm a manager of Walmart. Oh yeah, well I'm a manager of Kmart. Well, they both sell the same stuff. It doesn't really matter. Is it really that important? Who should be adapting to who? Well, you're working for Walmart now, so you should adapt their way. Don't criticize them because you went to Kmart. But this is people. That's what we want to do. You constantly want to put a square peg in a round hole. You learn karate. You learn Kempo. You learn martial arts. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you do that martial art technique that you're so proud of. Instead of letting go and then all you got to do is go. And you look at the great martial artists of old. And I would say the people that understood from If you ask me what Mitosi was like, I can sum him up in one person's character that you guys are all gonna laugh over right now. He was Yoda, man. That dude was so far gone. The best thing that ever happened to Ozar is he died. I don't know where him and I had the connection that we had. But I think on it now, he was gone. He was what we call Okuden, total Okuden level, which is like cosmos. Couldn't fit it in, he couldn't fit into society. Couldn't do it. The other great masters like that is Morihei Yoshida of Aikido. Same beast. You guys have heard of Aikido, right? Everybody today relates to who? Well, Morihei was before his death, he was looked upon as a religious nut. Okay? And he was gone, man. Somebody talked to him, he started talking to class. I'm probably doing a lot of this once in a while, and everybody's going, what's he saying? Yeah, happy in the cosmos, you know. He was a classical old Japanese hippie. You know, like this. The other one, Hideyori Otsuka, the founder of Waburo. But the Aikido people today, they don't believe in Morihei today. Morihei and Mitosi were very close. And Otsuka was very close. Mitosi thought the world of them. Mitosi didn't like Funakoshi, the founder of Japanese Karate. He said, no master school teacher. That's all he said. I understand. So, you guys have any questions about this? So the idea, you work movement and motion. Yes, in Kosho we do the kata, we do the forms, and we do all this. Then we take the form, we start working bunkai. Then you see it take on a totally different thing. Okay? And then you will find yourself, no matter what you learn from me, or your sensei, or your senseis, you will find yourself locking yourself into little cubby holes because you're comfortable with it. And then you'll find yourself saying, my sensei, so-and-so showed me this way, and they showed me that way. Now, which one is it? Or you'll start grumbling over that. Well, no, it's this way, or no, it's that way. Why do you want it to be a certain way? That would have to be my question. I hear in my school all the time, my students go, hey, Joel showed me this one, Mike showed me that. Well, come on now, which one is it? And I just look at him and say, which way do you want it to be? He's going to laugh and I walk off. Doesn't matter. What's wrong with doing them both? Somebody's a little bit different. That's okay. It's cool. Nobody throws the right punch the same twice. You guys understand what I'm saying? Timing, or what we call Hayoshi, that means timing. Hayoshi is right noise. And Ma'ai, M-A-A-I, that means distance. Ma'ai and Hayoshi are the most important elements in the understanding of an opponent. There's timing and the distance that he plays. That changes everything. And that will change every single time something takes place. The way that breeze moves and your reaction time. So, does it really matter to do something the same way each time? If you're working form, yes. From form, there's formlessness, and from formlessness, there's form. And you guys are saying, you're nuts. Why did you send this guy way out here to help like this? No. But you guys understand? There are no answers, man. The idea is to enjoy the process. But each one of you will develop in your mind prejudice, an opinion. Everybody does it. I do it too. And what we have to do is be aware of that and control that for ourselves. All right? Last night, I heard you come up with about, 15 prejudices. So I just kept asking for another one to call. And I listened. Okay, but it's a process. All of it's in a process. You're going to go through changes. That's okay. As a teacher, not one of your students can present your teacher with something that is new to them because they've seen it before. Okay? And other students. You all go through the same process. It's normal. It's okay. That's why the teacher's got to be patient and hang in. And you just got something from what I said. But
Could I ask you, bunkai?
bunkai means discussion. It is the top level from kata. But see, kata you can't break down just for the forms. Kata-wise, I know 268 katas. That's something I know. And not just from Koshiru, because Koshiru doesn't have that many forms. When I was doing the Chinese Kempo, I had a Parker system. Long 6, 7, and Tracy has what they call Kamtui or funky tiger frame that they stole from Kungar in China. About 5 of those forms, which are actually called Fuhaka, in the Chinese system. You used to think, well, geez, I got through that one, now let me get to the next one. I never really understood what that meant. Company is anything to do. You're doing copy right now. Is it proper for what you're trying to do? I don't know how you feel. You feel natural? Yeah, then it's okay. You see? But I want you to do the copy this way, then it's a this way. To do it a certain way. So Wokai is a level where you go way beyond. Okay? And we'll, if you guys want, we'll do a little bit of that. You guys want to do some of that? So I can show you guys how that translates into many different meanings. When I was doing Kempo, or the Chinese Kempo, or, you know, I'll explain those too. Chinese Kempo is a contradiction. And if you don't mind, Shaolin Kempo is a big contradiction. Why? Shaolin is Chinese. Kempo is a Japanese word. If it's going to be Japanese, it should be called Shorinji Kempo. In Chinese, it should be Shaolin Chuan Tao. It's going to be Korean. Kempo, the term of Kempo in Korean is Kunba. In Indonesia, or in Philippines, it's called Kuntao. What does it mean in all those countries? It means study. It has nothing to do with kicking and punching. That's all self-explanatory if you understand what it means. That's where the basis of all martial arts systems are. So today, what has happened is everybody thinks Kempo is a style. Therefore, it's evil. It contradicts its basic meaning. Use them all. First usage of the word Kempo was in 604 AD in Japan by a man by the name of Prince Juchnik. I think I pronounced that right, maybe not. And he was the first one that created the constitution for the Japanese on how they were to conduct themselves physically and spiritually in Japan. Okay? Or morally. What that was called is a Kempo. That's how you conduct yourself. It's Kempo. And does that have anything to do with fighting? It has everything to do with fighting. Don't conduct yourself properly in a fight, you're going to get beat. Right? In the punch, he is hitting, and he hits. How many people are there right now? There's one. An environment consists of yourself and those things around you, and what you accept within that environment. I've accepted this guy's conflict, so there's only one of us. Body follows the head. If I'm the one initiating movement, and I'm going towards him, and I'm initiating movement now, why? It's because I created a 90. And I know he's going to hit, so as he goes to hit, I move this direction. His body will go where my head goes. I want him to go down, my head goes down. He's going to push down. My head, again, you're going to have a bag down his elbow. My head doesn't go down, he won't go down. My head goes out, he goes out. This is one person now. You guys understand? Not two, one. It's the other thing you want to understand about keys and motion and movement. My environment right now, all of you are part of it. It is up to me to manipulate all of you in this environment for me to be successful with doing what I'm doing. Right? We take up space, somebody else is around space with us. To live in harmony within that space, we have to blend. Make sense? Okay, guess questions? Fire away, please.
There was no master in the school that you need.
What is a master?
Promotion.
Funakoshi.
Promotion said, master is not a school teacher. What do you mean by that?
Or what Mitoshi said about Funakoshi? In Kempo, back in Japan at that time, see, Funakoshi was sent out to teach the commoners in Japan, not martial arts. He was sent to teach the school systems in Japan. So what Mitoshi meant was no master martial arts. He was teaching physical fitness. Yeah, did you guys know that?
I thought he was sent to teach around.
Karate, empty hand, was for physical fitness in school systems. See, during the Meiji period of Japan, which was the time of great transition, what took place was your bushi. You guys know what the term bushi means? Bushi or your royalty, that was your samurai caste. Meiji period is when they banned the samurai caste. And we're talking 700, 800 years of lineage, okay, of samurai. If you were born a commoner, say a farmer, you had to be a farmer. You had no choice. The only ones allowed to learn martial skills were the samurai or the priest. And usually the priests came from samurai caste. Okay, there's supposedly at that time, which isn't really true, but at that time they had to all be related to the emperor. If you were daimyo or samurai or lord, you had to be related to the emperor. That makes you related to the eternal. There's a lot of exceptions to that, but during the Meiji period, time of transition, when they brought karate from Okinawa to Japan, what happened is the Bushi and the samurai caste objected strongly. So it was brought in as a school teaching format to the commoner in the colleges and the universities so that they could learn physical fitness. And the only thing that was taught in karate was kata. Just kata. No kumite, no sparring, none of that. The top guy in Kempo, because Shotokan Karate comes from, Funakoshi had two teachers, a guy by the name of Akuri Poso Mazedo, and they had a teacher by the name of Sokan Matsumura, okay, or Bushi Matsumura, who brought and started what they call Ryukyu Kempo, okay, meaning Ryukyu from the Ryukyu Island. So Funakoshi, technically, was a Ryukyu Kempo man, and he's the one who started the term karate, okay? But in Okinawa, the one that was known as the martial art master of Ryukyu Kempo was not Funakoshi. His name was Chokimoru. He's known as the father of modern day karate in Okinawa. You guys ever heard of that guy? You guys are going, how do you know all these people? They're all Polish. But Morobu Chokimoru was the first one where the Japanese commoners saw the empty hand art in Japan. And what happened, there was a Russian boxer. This is a story. Was beating up all the Japanese guys, you know, they weren't martial artists, and in the boxing ring, and he issued out a challenge, and Morobu jumped in the ring, the guy twice and killed him. And then jumped out and took off. And everybody said, who was that dude? Now the reason I didn't pick Morobu to go teach the school system is because he wasn't educated from the classical sense. Morobu would be the last person in the world who went to your house. In 1944 he died, but around about 38, 37, he went to Hawaii. Put him out. Thank you, Joe. You guys got to do that. I go sometimes. Is there any questions? Everyone goes. Yeah.
You hear a lot of talk about Lin Chow and so forth, and Polari keeps running on top of him. He says he is. I mean, what's the actual background and truth on all this?
Well, Polari, first of all, I want to make this statement. One of the tapes that you guys should get, and this tapes that you guys can't get, is a historical controversy. I talk about all of the Kempo pioneers. Fred Polari studied from a guy by the name of Syrio. Syrio supposedly studied from Chow. But Syrio actually, the main teacher was a guy named George Vasari out of Rhode Island. And Chow, if he taught Syrio, it wasn't that long. Very short period of time, maybe a couple weeks. Okay. Chow was never studied Goku. Never. This is something that was created by Chow as an excuse to leave Parker, or as an excuse to leave Tulsi. Tulsi really wanted nothing to do with Chow anyway because of the attitude of Chow. Chow was a very tough guy, very strong guy. Was known for street brawling. In Hawaii, the senior to Chow was a guy named Thomas Young, who's affiliated with us today. Young was the senior of the Kempo, the official self-defense club in Hawaii. And Professor Young, a sweet man, and he works in the Honolulu Zoo today. This sweet guy. Young loved kids. He loved to work with kids. Chow loved to beat up people. And back in the 40s, who was everybody going to notice? Right. That's basically what it is. And when Chow taught Parker, he told Parker that I got this system from my grandfather, which Arthur Lee and Oolong, Young and stuff, funny that, you know, they never knew Chow doing any kung fu training. Anybody would know, they would have known. Hawaii is a small place. If you go to Honolulu, it's a very small place. There's a lot of fish stores there. Chow, now, the whole analysis, I could be wrong about motives, but this is what I believe to be the motive. The very first man that ever studied Kempo and who convinced me totally to begin teaching in the 40s was was the very first man that ever opened up a school in this country. His name was Robert Trias. Anybody ever heard of Trias? And I could never figure out the connection between Trias and Young, because that's how I was introduced to Young, as True World Sensei Trias. And when I was in Hawaii about 2 years ago with Young, we were driving around, and I'm still bugging me. So I said, Professor, I said, tell me, how did Professor Trias get to know you? He said, oh, Bruce, you know, he knew him way before any of us. I think he was the first guy who studied in the Tulsa himself. I almost slammed on the back. I was like, what? Now, first guy to ever open up a school in this country was Robert Trias. Trias became the head of the Shiryu system under a guy named Yushiro Konishi, who was the top guy in the Chokimoto, Kempo. So when Trias was in the Navy and he go to Hawaii, he knew Mitosi and would work with Mitosi. Matter of fact, the Juchnik concept comes from Trias. Shortly before Trias' death, he asked me to preserve it. Out of respect for him, I did so. Trias, the first guy to open up school, he's a traditionalist. Okay? He knew everybody's dirty laundry, didn't he? The other pioneers in this country at that time were in Parker. I think he had a second school in Pasadena, California. Steve Armstrong, who did, I think Steve Armstrong, Juchnik, and Peter Irvin, Goju, American Goju, New York. Those were your pioneers. That was it. Now, Trias knew everybody's dirty laundry. Parker was not a black belt, could not have been a black belt, technically. Like I explained last time, every Chinese Kempo, Shaolin Kempo, every black belt. Sorry guys, you're not legit unless you came directly either under myself or James. Why? Chow, all those other guys only got first two black belt. Now, what do you think that did to me? I had 5 schools, I'm one. I laughed. Believe it or not, I went, oh God, what a scam. Hey, that was really good, guys. Jeez. But Mitosi's intent was to see that everybody gets legitimacy. Because you can't take away from that Parker and stuff. But anyway, so Parker had to really build that story up about William Chow doing this kung fu. Right? Because he had Trias sniffing down his neck. Okay? And that's where a lot of the changing went and took place. So, is it Serial's fault or Valari's fault that this guy is not? Well, no, but it is now. Why? They know better. They know better. Now they do. I have provided history for everybody. So, what I did when I found out that I didn't know stuff, I had the biggest chain of schools in the Sacramento area at the time. Somebody instilled something into me which was a little bit of integrity, which I went back and said, hey guys, I'm sorry I screwed up. Come on guys, let's get to work. Let's learn. But the history's there. William Chow didn't do kung fu. But is it really wrong of these other guys to do it? They didn't know any better. Parker really didn't know any better. You know, Parker didn't. Well, these guys don't know any better. But now they do. So what are they going to do? They'll go do things. They'll go into a state of denial. Or they're trying to learn. My organization is set up to try and protect all Kempo groups now, because they're busy destroying themselves. Right? They're killing each other. Parker, I've seen his groups go. That's all it is. It's one little, and we got some other guys here. So there's another line for BS. It's called El Toro Pupu. A little bit of El Toro Pupu creates a whole lot if you don't do that. So the real guys that created the problem in Kempo, I would blame the 2 people that are most responsible is James Mitosi, my teacher, and Tom Chung. And I one time when I was with him, I brought that up. I said, you know, Professor, because they didn't keep challenging him. They just figured, Tosi walked away thinking he had no idea there was a ninja turtle someday. So, no idea. And that's why you have to be very careful about what you do today, because it's going to do something wrong. You always get found out. That's why I don't lie to my people. But I can be wrong. If I'm wrong, they know that I'll say, whoops, let's make it right. And my students know that about me. Because I don't want any part of what these other guys have. No way. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not their fault. So there's a lot of BS going on. If you're doing Chinese arts, if you call it Shaolin Kempo, you should not be wearing an obi. You should be wearing a song. Your first rank should be a black sash, not a white belt. In Kung Fu, your first rank is a black sash, not a white one. Black sash means that you're in the dark. First level, second level, from a classical sense, would be white. That means your eyes are open. Next level would be green. That means you're earthbound. Next level would be red sash. That means blood, fluidity. Next gold, enlightenment. Well, the Obi system comes from what? Jubal Khan. So if you call it Shaolin, you better be Kung Fu. And you better do all Kung Fu. Then, if your Kung Fu isn't proper, people that know Gongfu, I know. I've studied several forms of Gongfu. Alignments aren't there, pivot places on the heel. If you're northern, southern, a guy comes up to me and Kati says, I'm going to do Fuhak, I'll say southern, northern, central, what? You, Guangdong, Shantung, Hokkien, Fujian, what form? He goes, later. You know, and that's what's happening. You don't do side kicks during Gongfu. You don't do thrust kicks during Gongfu or rising kicks. It's different. Okay? So, questions, guys?
When we do kata, how does it produce something? Form from formlessness, and then formlessness produces form. How does that work?
You do your form, but then you go beyond the form. The thing is to keep your mind in check. You're doing the form, and the first thing we do is, show me another, show me another. Do you know the one that you just did? You see? Do you really know the form you just did? How well do you know it? Then look at all the ways that you can do it. We do, and if you guys want, I'll show you just a basic form. We do everything 5 ways. It depends on what we want to emphasize within the kata. For instance, it rolls here, and let's see. I want to do, I want to emphasize, okay, I'll take a shudo. Shudo, okay? This guy punches, okay? Okay, I want to just do a basic block. First of all, we'll work off the 90, okay? My guys won't punch, they won't work here. Okay, so we're going to work dachi in the defensive mode. We understand that the attacks, right, is off to the 90, okay? Always. This way the man punches again, you always go back to center. You see what's happening? Have you noticed, would I knock him back, or where would he have gone? Where's your weight going? Down, right? Okay? Now, if I do this, punch, home, and he goes to punch, I'm going, boom. Do you see the difference? Strike. So the alignment is here, punch, is here. What's going to happen to you? See where his weight is? Face crush. Now, that's emphasizing dachi in game position. But if I say, okay, we're going to work the shuruki, and we're going to emphasize speed. Now the posture changes. Okay? He moves. I move on the ball of the feet. No weight on the heels. So the whole kata would be practiced on the ball of the feet. Why? Why on the ball? Movement's a fine process. This enables my head posture as he moves. My ankle. You know that? But also, I rob him of his sight because I'm here. The other thing I rob him of is his hearing. Why? That's right. See? This guy goes to punch, we understand movement. Okay? What this would do to his mind is what? Oh my God. So let's take again on Barai and Bonkai. Come over here. And in one of the Pianon katas, you're doing this. Okay. Okay. Front kick, wait. 90. Okay. Speed and kick. Now, if you notice where my block made contact, wasn't at the shin. Okay. When you throw your kick, it hits you. The blocking, see there. It's called liver meridian. Isn't it? Okay. So you had a couple beers last night, right? So this is going to tweak. If I hit this out, what does that do to your whole right side? So, this man goes to hit it. You know what I'm at? I move on time because the weight is on the ball of the feet. Posture changes. So, you do it on top, it's here. Okay? You understand? Now the peripheral vision changes, all of these things. Circles. Then we work circles. We have 2 movements. Let's say if we're working in Koshiru or Kanan Shoda, okay, and we're working these 2 moves. 1, 2. And I tell the student, do Kanan Shoda, emphasize circles. Open hand, relaxed stay. This is what the first 2 movements will look like. Okay? How many angles do you guys see? Hmm? You see a projection and retraction. So to do your downward block, okay, he goes to punch, this, punch, this is all part of the same thing. Not quite done with the downward block yet because he's going to punch again. So now the angle is here. That's still just a downward block. You guys understand? Now I'm going to start throwing the punch as he starts punching again. The angle is here, changes to here. I want to step through. That's 2 moves in a kata. Now, do you know your kata? No. How much can you learn from your form? Endless. You can take a whole system and develop it out of a nose pick. Okay? There's the move. There's the movement right there. Then he goes to move. I'm going to use a little bit of twist here. Okay? It's all the same thing. Okay? It's your mind, it's your prejudice. I know the kata, I can get through all 16 moves. That's okay. Now, why do I do what I do in my dojo? Some of my guys, if the requirement is up to purple, going up to so many pinouts, and they go all the way up to green forms, I don't care. Because I always pull them back. I say, now let's look at this more, let's look at this more. But your mind is definitely not going to see all these things. It's going to take you a long time. But as long as you know it's there, then what are you going to do? You'll look for it. Okay? All of the old masters moved in different ways. And they all looked awkward towards the end of their life, but they were 10 times more effective. They knew subtleties. When we're young at anything we do, we're sloppy and we're in a hurry and we want to show off. That's natural. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Questions?
In Tai Chi and stuff, they talk about heel, toe, heel, toe.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I couldn't help, that's what you would do.
I do that, and you won't see this too much in that. You see, Tai Chi is no different. Where does Tai Chi come from? It comes from Chuan Fa, comes from Kempo. It's just internal. It's just internal. Grab my hand. He grabs me here. I take my foot and I just do this. His grip doesn't feel as good anymore, does it? Now, because his grip doesn't feel as good anymore, he wants to re-grip. As he does, he'll be weightless. Therefore, this works. Okay? But what you see today, guy grabs. No. Come on. You know, you just grab tight. Slight motion. You readjust. Boom. Ow. There goes the arm. There goes the leg. You don't need all of that stuff with all that runs and groans. But what am I doing? Is I'm dealing with what? Natural laws. Okay? Okay? Grab through here. Body wants to be symmetrical. Isn't it symmetrical right now? But if I do this, what do you want to do? You want to readjust, right? So I say grab tight. He's here. I take a little bit of that away. He moves again. Bang. He's moving. Why? Because I catch him as he's moving. That's all. Simple stuff. So simple. You're right. Okay. $29.95, and you too can not. Yeah.
I have a basic question about practicing, like you're saying, practicing certain things a certain way. I studied Shokan for quite a while in different schools, and they all seem to teach the same thing, study a certain things a certain way, and when basically you get to black belt and you don't know nothing, then you start over and learn the way it should be. Is that wrong? I always thought that was so you had a basis.
Two trains of thought. Really, there's many roads, as a quote is, there's many roads to the mountain. Once you achieve its peak, everyone sees the same moon. Okay, that's an old Zen quote. And first of all, let's look at a history again in martial arts. In the United States, these guys that came over here to start stuff, maybe spent 9 months in Okinawa or Japan, or in even Parker's case, maybe at the most a year of training before he came over here and made up what he did. How much would they have really understood what traditional martial arts are? In Shotokan, same. a year, and then these guys do something. They did things over and over and over again. Why do you think they did so? For many reasons. One, yeah, there's something to be said for the discipline of doing the same move over and over again. There's something to be said for that. Americans are lazy. Not just Americans, Japanese are lazy. All of this stuff comes from your temples, your warrior monks, or your samurai groups. Their traditional understanding of how to train traditionally dealt with, if I want to understand sword, I got to use brush, I got to understand the anatomy, I got to be cultured, I have to be intelligent, because when I engage in combat, I have to have a mindset. I've got to be smart. Okay? Now today, what happens, Americans and Japanese and Chinese and Koreans, they're all lazy. It's much easier to run a school to have just a bunch of students do something over and over and over again. Is that wrong? It is wrong if you look at the end result and the student gets his black belt, he walks out like he's done something, then it's wrong. And that's usually, unfortunately, what takes place. Is it traditional art? No, I don't think so. No, not at all. What I'm teaching is more traditional than what they're teaching. If I wanted to teach Taekwondo, from the sense of why Taekwondo was developed as a basic military training Rock Army Corps in Korea. Rock Army Corps in Korea. Those people were not taught to be smart. They're taught to do as they're told, right? But if you look at the history of the martial art through Kempo, which is an education, you're taught to think, to find enlightenment, to understand why you do what you do. Okay? You guys understand? So it's, you tell me, is it wrong? From what I'm showing you now, Mike saw my guys and you guys leaving?
Yeah, it's over.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. So what you're doing is you're learning, you understand, you're learning to think. And Mike, what you saw down in California, my students do this stuff. They know this stuff. They walk around, they're smart guys, man. So, you know, but again, history teaches that. Questions, guys? Makes sense?
I still think I have a stronger base to learn what you're teaching because I
Okay.
But because after 4 years, you know you don't know anything. Not you know you.
Well, that's because you've accomplished definitely then a level of humbleness through that. But it doesn't work for everybody. And I went through the same kind of stuff too. You know. Yeah.
What did you do then once you talked to Tosi and he kind of told you how what was going on? What did you do with your school?
Oh, they're still there, man. Most of the guys are still with me. Some of them got a pipe. You know, it was basically the same thing you're talking about. See, this is what I'm talking about, structure. Structure's good. There's a place for it. There's a place for repetition. You know, but there's, just like in my dojo, my guys got to learn brush calligraphy as well as fighting. All my top fighters, when I make them go do brush, we want them to sweat. It's like you had a head knocked out. Okay? Because I don't like this. So that's the process. Then the guys that love this, you get them on a mat, make them fight. Oh no! See, this is what this stuff's all about. What did I do? I enjoyed the process of learning. That's just me. And I'm smart enough to know that if I'm around somebody that knows better, to listen and pay attention, and not to come up with my own values and opinions, because he's walked the walk. You want to respect people that walk the walk. And that are there, that have been there. And listen to your elders, I believe in that. You know, they usually know what they're talking about. And then you guys that have kids, you know what I'm talking about. You appreciate your parents after you have them. Right? That's the only time you do that. Questions? Yep.
Where does punch come from?
What punch?
Hey, we know how to get out of the way. We understand redirecting what someone does towards me. But where, without looking at them, do you find a punch?
What do you want to put for a punch?
Without looking.
fighting is maneuvering yourself from an environment and replacing yourself in a new environment, and somebody's trying to occupy the distance. To decipher the right punch and left punch is accepting it. Therefore, you have to deal with it or you're going to get hit. In the octagon, the way that works is what we call 12-6-3. 12 feet, and it's based upon your reaction time. But slow motion slow punch, with an all body force. How much body movement just took place before you started throwing the punch? You guys see that? Now my mindset is I'm blocking that punch, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the hand. I'm going to miss out on all of this. You see? So I'm going to move my time. You understand? So if you hit, if you learn that, this is here, but I don't have to deal with it. Okay? You see what I'm saying? So if a guy wants to hit, I'm moving when I see movement. I can be here. Now we do know that our opponent's always going to hit what? Twice. So you move twice. You're going to hit. Anything I stop, this arm is going to stop that hand. Okay? So that's what you want to learn to train yourself to do. Then you guys can get in front. You get then you do your block. Now let's do this now. Instead of blocking the punch, block your last space. Let the guy throw the punch. Okay, hit. 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 Okay? You guys understand? That's what you're going to do now. Okay? Take your classical block, but when you see movements, right? Block where you were last. That's what his arm will be. Make sense? Don't pay attention to trying to block his arm, because then, slow motion. Okay? Hit more than once. Yeah.
A good fighter, is not going to just throw a single movement like that.
Nobody is. They throw multiple strikes. That's why you move twice.
They're going to throw feints or try to get you to commit to move.
Now, if you engage in the fight, yes. Let's look at self-defense again and fighting. The distance that I'm at between Joel right now. Okay, hit Joel. Okay, this time throw a feint. All that motion takes you into a feint. I don't have to do a punch, so why would the feint do it unless I acknowledge it? I want to do this. Now see what you're talking about is flying. Start doing the feint. Maybe spot. That's not a fight. That is accepted of a fight. That is an argument. When you argue with somebody, you have to get hit. You understand?
No, why do you have to get hit?
Well, because you're accepting it. You're accepting it. You're getting yourself into the argument. See, we're talking about apples and oranges. Pitch. Okay? Come back. Okay. Hitting.